Hello, my name is William, and I'm here to show the new legal entity file update web form. This form will be available on our website via a URL. You simply clicking on it will open this form, and you can submit your legal entity file updates as needed. To review the form, we're going to go ahead and simulate a submission using test information. Here we have the type of transaction section. There are three options: change, add, or inactive. I'm going to go ahead and click through these things. Firstly, though, I'd like you to keep an eye on this legal entity number. You see a red asterisk there? That means the field is required. When I click inactive, it is still required. However, a new field appears, which is prompting for some confirmation on some additional information. And when I click add, the legal entity file number or legal entity number is now no longer required, and that field that was there is now gone. Why I'm showing this is to let you know how the system works, is that when certain fields are interacted with, other fields will become required or visible depending on what you select. In this instance, the legal entity number, if you're doing an add, you could have it, but it's typical you might not have that handy. So when you click add, if you have it, you could enter it, and there's some formatting rules for it. However, it's not required. Let's go to a required field here, and let's actually hover over this little information or tooltip. What you're seeing here is a little bit of a guide to help you understand how to interact with the field directly in the form. Hopefully this will enable you to understand what should be entered into the fields if you are uncertain. The federal taxpayer ID does have some formatting requirements. I'm going to enter some test information. I don't think anyone's federal taxpayer ID is this, but I'm going to mess it up intentionally so we could see an error. When you mess up a required field, you'll notice you'll get these little prompts here, like an error. It should be in red. And to continue, all you have to do is fix your error, and the little error box will disappear, and you can continue. The legal entity information section has all the fields are required, and I will just enter some test information I have handy. And for the zip code, I'm going to talk about this briefly because I know there are several different formattings for zip codes. Of course, you could enter 5 digits. However, I'm going to mess it up so we could see the error. There are 3 acceptable patterns. There's the 5 digits, there is the 5 digits with a dash and then 4 more digits, or 5 digits, space, and 4 digits. Any one of those are acceptable. However, it will let you know if you mess it up. So, example here, this is acceptable. If I deselect out of it and continue, it doesn't throw an error. However, if I type too many digits, it'll throw an error, or if I do too few digits, it'll throw an error. So just keep that in mind. This zip code formatting is across all these specialty mental health forms. So keep an eye out for that, because you'll see that again. The ownership and management information section has 2 drop downs. I'm just going to go ahead and select 2 items here very quickly, because these are smaller drop down lists, and I'll get 2 drop downs under these 2 here. Legal entity start date is just a simple date. I will I will tell you though that we do require leading zeros in front of our digits here, as you see right here. Continuing on, we have the county and submittal information section. For the county submitting form, this is you're supposed to select a specific county. And I'll show the first way how to interact with one of these larger drop downs. You just scroll, find your item, and then continue. However, if you don't like the scroll, you could also search. I just typed in NEV, which brought up Nevada as a Nevada county, and there we have it. It's in there. Either way to interact with a dropdown is acceptable. It's just kind of dealer's choice. The county contact name, I'm just going to enter some pre-saved test information here. I'll enter a fake phone number. The email, I will actually talk about briefly. This is an important field because, one, it does validate an email format. However, it does not know if it is truly a valid email. So keep an eye on that. Make sure you're entering in the correct information, because receipts and confirmations will be routed to this email. I'm going to go ahead and press submit. That will then trigger this particular success screen, letting you know that the information was sent to us. And then shortly after, this is just an example, and these email bodies will probably change given time as we finalize the templates. However, you will receive an email with a receipt showing what you entered. The receipt should be, I'll actually bring it up real quick here. The receipt is just more or less a copy of what you entered, right? Nothing too exciting or groundbreaking. However, it's good to have a receipt. I'll continue and show the other option. At times when you have submitted your information, there will be times when there is an error with it. And when there is an error and PED locates it, they'll send you an email that will look like this. It will tell you there's an error with the submission number here that you should have in your other emails. And it will list the errors. In this case, there's just one, but there could be more than one. It'll list the errors here and tell you how to update it or how to make some changes. So to resolve these issues, you just have to click this link here, and that will pull up a new web form that is similar to the one we were already looking at. I'll give it a second so we can look at it together. Here it is, and you'll notice here that it has some of the same formatting. However, the legal entity name is the only required field because that's the only field they want you to update. To update it, simply write in the new information, LLC, sure, and then press submit. That will then send the information back to PED. They'll be notified, and then they will review your submission and either send another rejection if there's more issues, so you could make more changes, or they'll send you a completion email. In this case, this is what the formatting for the completion email is currently, and you once again will receive a receipt. I've already shown it, so I don't see a big need on showing it again. But you'll receive a finalized receipt with any revisions you made, showing the finalized submission that you gave to PED. That is a review of the legal entity file update. There will be other videos available for the other specialty mental health forms. Thank you.